So the next big section that we're going to talk about is building out a sales team and building out an office staff. And we'll kind of throw in a production manager in that, kind of how it all works. Guys, if you have no desire to hire anyone else and you just want it to be you, or you just want it to be you for a long time, you can skip through this section. There's no problem with that. You can always come back later. Maybe you just want to run the company on your own. There's no problem with that. Just go on to the following chapters. This isn't really going to apply to you. The only thing that would maybe apply to you is some of the things I'm going to talk about in terms of finding an office and working from and stuff like that and saving some money that way. But if you don't want to hire anybody and you want to do it yourself, just go ahead and skip to one of the next sections. But if you are wanting to recruit people for office staff or salespeople, stay tuned. So some of the things we're going to talk about, we're going to start off talking about recruiting, which is what this video is. We're going to talk about your office managers, admin assistants. We're going to talk about CRM tools, hiring a sales team, and then finally, we're going to talk about salaries, commissions, and bonuses, how you should pay your people. All right, so this first video is mainly about recruiting. Okay, so before I get into how to bring in new people and how to recruit the best, I want to talk about qualities when you're hiring your people. So I think there's 4 main qualities that matter more than anything, more than experience, more than somebody's been in roofing or not in the past, if they have construction background, who their parents are, what school they went to, whether they have an education or not. I think there's 4 main qualities that trump all the others, okay? Those 4 qualities to me are honesty. Is this person an honest person? Do they handle themselves with integrity all the time when people aren't watching? That is a huge, huge bonus for me, and something I want to know right from the get-go is they're an honest person with integrity. Next, do they have ambition? Is this person an ambitious person? I don't feel like that's a quality that you can make people have. Either they're ambitious or they're not. That's just, again, my personal thought on it. Some people think differently. Other people, do well in other situations, but I feel like ambition is something that you either have or you don't. The next quality is working hard. Some people work hard and some people don't. Some people they're just never going to just be hard workers. Their idea of a hard day might be only doing 4 hours of work or 6 hours of work. And you may give people working hours and you may get more out of them than other leaders. Leadership does matter, but I really feel like some people are just made to work hard and some people aren't. Again, we could argue with this, but that's just my personal opinion. And then lastly, this might be a little taboo to talk about, but intelligence. It doesn't have to be someone is a valedictorian or have the highest scores or have the best education. Are they smart people? Are they intelligent? I feel like that's just a God-given quality that you have. If you're smart or not, you're a quick learner, you can adapt to new situations faster. I feel like intelligence is something that's maybe overlooked when it comes to education. Some people confuse the two. I'm sure most people who are getting in this industry understand there is a difference between education and intelligence. So again, I want people who are honest and that have integrity. I want people that are ambitious. I want people that are hardworking, and I want people that are intelligent. Those are the 4 qualities that I look for that sometimes you won't be able to find in a resume. Okay, so when it comes to recruiting, guys, when you go through the interview process, the reason I'm bringing this up right away is this is something we screwed up a lot when we first started our business. We would a lot of times give people one interview, and if they were really, really great, we would hire them. And anybody that's had professional jobs at corporations and stuff, you never have just one interview. You have 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 interviews for positions, particularly if they're paying 6 figures. Guys, do an interview process. If you take anything out of what I'm about to tell you, take away what I told you about finding people with those 4 qualities and finding a method of hiring people, and I recommend doing it a bare minimum of 2 interviews, maybe 3. Sometimes if it's for a massive, for a big job, it's going to be something that's really vital to your business. If you have to push it out 4 interviews, you may have to do that to get the right person. Okay, I'll tell you a quick little story on why that's important. We were going to hire an employee a few years ago, and this employee was going to be in charge of our office staff. Which is a very vital very vital role in a company. And during our first interview, both my business partner and I thought she was great. She fit all the things we were looking for. She seemed smart. She had a great resume. She seemed like to be a quick learner. She was looking for a job. She fit in the hours we wanted her to work. She was going to work fairly remotely, not have to be at the office every day, which is something that we valued in our company. And we felt like she was just a really good fit after the first interview. But we decided that we wanted to have a second interview with her. And in that second interview, we brought in one of our sales guys who was kind of like a manager of our company. And so we did a second interview because we wanted, his input as well, because we wanted to start getting him to start moving in more of a leadership role within the company. And so second interview went great again. Both my business partner and I leave. And so it's just the sales manager and her. After we leave, we have, because I wanted him to ask her some questions, some things that he was looking for specifically. And then it turned out that she had a DUI on her record, and she didn't want to tell my partner and I about it because she was intimidated. And basically, she wasn't going to be able to come to work back and forth when we needed her to come to the office, even though we didn't need to come to the office all the time. We were going to ask her to do some marketing stuff for us, like be able to drive around and drop off some marketing material to real estate agents and to insurance agents and stuff like that. She was going to be able to do that work for us because she had a DUI, and we couldn't obviously, have someone that couldn't drive. That came out on the second interview. Had it been on the first interview, then we would have never known about that. We would have never heard anything about it. So there needs to be at least 2 to 3 interviews, sometimes 4. When you do multiple interviews, people are going to come up, they're giving you their best version of themselves, interview number 1. Interview number 2, they're going to start letting their guard down. By interview number 3, you're going to find out who exactly that person is. So if I had my personal opinion on it, I would tell you guys to give somebody 3 interviews for a job. Now, some people may not want to get interviewed that many times for a job, and if they don't, guess what? That's their loss. You're hiring someone for your company. And there's an old saying when it comes to a startup, you have to hire slow and fire fast. Hire slow and fire fast. And guys, we simply did not follow that advice like we should have right when we started. We went through a lot of employees when we first started because, again, we had explosive growth and we didn't know how to manage it properly, and we should have did a better job of doing our interview process and making sure that we followed it's been said for years, like this is old news. Hire slow, fire fast. If somebody does not fit within the organization, if they have integrity issues, things like that you just will not tolerate, they don't show up on work on time, fire them. I know that could be hard for some of you that's new to kind of, to doing this and stuff, but you have to take this. This is your money at the end of the day. And the longer that you hold on to bad employees, the longer it's going to be before you start getting paid, which sometimes can be a really, really long time. So when it comes to recruiting, now that we've kind of got all this stuff out of the way, there's a few ways that you can recruit people. You can do it over Facebook. You can make a post, hey, I'm looking for a new sales rep. You can use ZipRecruiter. You can use Indeed. There are a lot of different methods out there to be able to recruit people. Guys, if you're hiring for new positions, I recommend trying a lot of them. We've had some success using Indeed. We had an office manager that worked for us for 3 years, who we ended up hiring from Indeed. She came in, I remember looking at her resume and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is the woman. And she was an amazing part of our company during our most important years. Sheila Jewell, if you happen to ever see this video, I still thank you very much for all the hard work that you did for us. We wouldn't be in the position we are today without you. She was a godsend. We found her from Indeed. Another, obviously ZipRecruiter is another great way. We've hired a lot of employees from ZipRecruiter. Guys, you don't have to do this all on your own. You don't have to always have to ask somebody. There are professional tools, and some of these are relatively cheap to hire people and to get candidates. And when you come into hiring people, again, you're wanting to do this as cheap as possible, but also get the most return on your investment. When it comes to hiring people, this is a very important part of your business. If you're bringing in new people, don't be afraid to spend a little bit of money to get the right people in. If you have a little bit higher ceiling of what you can spend to get started, and you want to hire a headhunter company and stuff like that, those are options. I would personally recommend you just using Facebook, posting, post it local. You'll probably get some people, reach out to you about these jobs. Use ZipRecruiter and use Indeed, and then interview a lot of people. Okay, I know it's tedious. I know it's time consuming, but interview a lot of people. And you know what? If there's someone who doesn't necessarily fit the bill, but they got those 4 qualities that I really talked about, and you can maybe get a feel of that out of their resume, don't be afraid to take a flyer on somebody, especially right when you start your business. But just understand, hire slow, fire fast. If they don't fit, then get rid of them. But don't be afraid of someone who doesn't necessarily have the experience in roofing construction, because a lot of times hiring someone with bad habits is just going to cause problems down the road. And we went through that with sales reps and building a sales team, which I'll talk about when we get to that section. But recruiting, make sure you listen to what I said about, the character and all that stuff and the right fit. And then the ZipRecruiter, Indeed, and Facebook, to use those platforms to recruit people.